Hi there, it's Greg T. at the Image Stop, doing a overview / tutorial for basically the back-end workings of the web develop or the development or the the website builder / development tool that we use for our websites here. Now this is basically the end of October 2020, and we're doing this one here because some of our previous tutorials are using an older version of the builder, and with this builder it grows and expands on a regular basis. So we will try to keep this update as we deem kind of needed as big changes happen throughout the process of it growing and becoming even better than when we started using it. So what I'm using here, I'm using Focus LLP, that's thebrandguy.ca, as the example here. If you actually, great when it comes to accounting, great company to look for. So if you're watching this, you need an accountant, contact them. Okay, so moving right along, here's what I'm going to do. I am going to actually go through some of the processes and some of the things you see in the back end so you understand how it works. Now, these are going to be the basic overview. This is going to be not what you would fully get with an in-house, training type setup, but it will give you how some of the basic changes are done using the modules and stuff that are part of the builder. We will cover a few things in this, but we have specific videos, or can create specific videos for you as well. I do recommend though that if you have a larger number of people that will be using the website, and as far as making edits and doing things, that you reach out and we set up a training. It's not super expensive, but it is a very in-depth, and it covers not just the builder, but the marketing and mindset behind why things are built the way they are to help your staff and you and your full company and organization to maintain things when it comes to some good marketing and good, good turnover and good responses from your website with your visitors. So here, we're going to start with this site. We're going to start right immediately with the login screen. You would have had this login screen sent to you after your site has been completed. So there. Now, once you get into the login screen, we have this here. This is your main dashboard for WordPress. Now, a lot of people say, well, I've used WordPress before. I know how this works. I will say that WordPress is a good foundation for building the house on, or building your site on. The theme itself, or the builder in this case, it gives you an entirely different view and a different way of doing things. So even if you've experienced WordPress before, I can almost guarantee that some of the ways that this works is something you haven't dealt with before, which is a good thing, because this is much more intuitive, much easier to work on all levels, from beginner to intermediate to advanced, and we'll see how that works in the builder. So first of all, just a quick tutorial thing with that comes to WordPress itself. You see here, you get a lot of different information here. Well, you can edit this. If it's a little overwhelming, there's more information than you want here, go up to screen options. I'm going to click that. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to turn some things off and say, okay, get rid of the activity port, get rid of the quick draft, boom. And look at that, it cleans up everything really nicely. We only have a couple different panels here. So it's just nice. I thought I'd show you that just so you can see how you can work with that. And secondly, what I'm kind of pointing out here are some of the key things that we have a lot of clients mention or unsure about, just so you know going in. Over here on the left-hand side, you'll see the site health status. It says that it's good. I'm going to show you some of the things that we will see when you go to your site health status thing. It says critical issue, background update's not working. Okay. Specifically, if you are with us on our Pro hosting package, that is not an issue at all, actually. The reason that is the case is that the updates that we have done, other than WordPress core updates, are done manually. And the reason we have those manually is that if an update is done and it causes an issue in the website, you don't want that automated. You want it so that people can actually go in and physically do the change and see and make sure the website's working. That's how we do our plugin updates. So we're not worried about this background updates. Okay, that one is actually set in place on purpose. Secondly, you'll see that the versions of different things here, right? You'll see a WordPress version here. Unable to check if the new version of WordPress is available. Well, that's because the background updates aren't set. A good example, actually, and this is a perfect one, why that is the case is I guess there was an accidental inclusion of some demo content put with one of the most recent WordPress updates that I've seen in some of the boards that we are members of, where all of a sudden they had all the default themes and stuff installed as well, and had to go in and do a lot of things. in the end, it's all been fixed. You know, it was just a simple mistake on one of the WordPress developer sides. But, you know, that's something that it does happen. And as a result, we like to maintain some of the stuff manually. And that's pretty much all. Lastly, here it says you should remove inactive plugins. You'll occasionally see that where it say remove inactive themes as well. Not to worry. We usually only have the default themes installed, and often will only be one plus the one that's being used for you. In this case, if we open this one here, there are some. It says there are 7 active plugins. There's 1 inactive plugin. Well, you know, that may be actually one that we have pending because there's something that maybe is in development, but not a huge concern in that we do. And again, specifically with our Pro package, do updates once a month. So you'll be getting reports every month to see what's there. If you see some plugins or things that you know are not being used or are not necessary, contact us. We can talk about getting rid of those. We don't just remove things on our clients unless we are solely the only ones managing their websites, because of the fact that sometimes there are things that clients wish to use and maybe just turn off for a minor time, and that's pretty much it. So other than that, you know, this site is actually very healthy. It's in good condition. You know, things are working well. Nothing to really be concerned about. All right. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go straight into the builder. We're going to go to the pages here, and I'm going to show you what's here. So here's a lot of the pages that exist on this particular site. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to open the website in a new tab, and we're going to see that load here, so we can actually see what the site looks like, and I'll show you how to do some editing. So there's 2 ways of doing editing. You have the edit page, which is your back end. I'm going to open that in a new tab so we can see that. And then there is the front end, or the visual builder. And I click on that one here. So I'm going to open the visual builder on this side so we can compare and show you how the structure of the site goes, so you can see how easy it is to actually edit things. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to go over to the back end side, and as that builder loads here, you're going to see here that we have what's a section, row, text, and then we have another row, text, and a button. Well, let's go over to the front side here. Okay, this is really neat. Section, row, text, another row, text, and a button. That's what these are. So here's our section, here's our row with our text module in it. Here's this another row with a text module and a button. The exact same thing on both sides. The visual builder just makes it easier so you can see the changes as you make them. I like to show both sides just so you understand how the structure works. If we scroll down further, you'll see there's a services section here with a row and 2 rows of text. As we go down there, here's our services, and here's 2 rows of text. Then we have another row here. Now here's a neat one. As you are very much aware, I'm sure, all websites need to be responsive in that they need to change their formation or change how everything is displayed depending on the size of the screen they're being viewed on, such as a mobile device, tablet, or a smartphone. So what we have here is we have 2 sections built up. This one here is grayed out. The reason it's grayed out is it's only set to be visual on mobile devices. We've done that very much on purpose because, as you can see where the Learn More buttons are at the bottom, they're not aligned straight. We want this to be perfectly straight on the desktop version, in which case that's how they are here. So this desktop version is only being viewed on desktop screens, and this is only for mobile devices. You know what? Since I'm talking about that, I'm going to show you how that's done. So what we do is to ever edit any of the rows, columns, or modules, we click the gear. When we click that gear, it opens up that section. Well, what you have, as I noted before, is you have your beginner, intermediate, and advanced sections. Intermediate is not called intermediate in this case, it's designed, but still that gives you the idea of the extent of editing. In the advanced section, if you go to visibility, you see you can disable and turn things on and off on different sections. So in this case, this one's turned off for desktop, so it won't show up, but it'll show up gray when you're editing, just for awareness. All right, so that brings me to how to do some of your editing itself. Notice in this one here, down on the right-hand side, we have, don't let complexities of your accounting and taxations hold it. That should be just taxation. So what we're going to do is we're going to click that gear, open it up. Now, 2 things to recall, or at least be aware of in this is some of the editing is set to look and work like the old style WordPress backend editing that you're familiar with. So in the visual, that just gives you your text here. So if we mouse over, you can see this is a heading 4. If you mouse over here, this is a heading 2. If you mouse over here, this is a paragraph. Okay. If you hit the text button, this is just how it looks like as far as the coding side of things. If you ever notice that you're getting all this code stuff, just remember, click visual and you'll get back to what you see there. Okay, now watch here. I'm just going to go here and I'm going to delete that S. Notice it deletes in the backside, so you get the visual. I'm going to click the check mark. Now the check mark solidifies that in the current layout we're using. To save this entire page, always click the bottom circle there, the purple one. It opens up, and over on the right hand side we got save. Click that. Now, as soon as that check mark shows up, there it is, we have the site has been saved and is all set and live with that edit being done. You know, really, really simple. It's a very nice way of doing some things. Now I'm going to scroll down here further. I'm going to show you here that at the bottom of this site, you know, we had an improper postal code here. Again, very simple. I've already copied it. I'm just going to paste the new postal code. We save that one, and again, done. Click save. That's now live. So it's really, really, intuitive and very simple to use some of these things. Now, the modules that you're going to see, and I'm going to show you that again too. Some of the ones that you have available to you, they're pretty. I will say they're very vast. There's a lot there for you. Okay, and let me just show you how. So let's just assume here. I'm going to go back up here. Okay, and we're going to say, let's say we want to add a section, you know, right after these feature boxes here, before the get started. Well, watch here what happens here. If I go here, I can click this, and you notice if you mouse over, it'll show you things. And say add new section. Well, watch this. It's kind of cool. I'll click that. I want it to be a regular section. And then it asks you what the row structure you want it to be, whether it be 1 full column, 2 even 50-50 columns, 3, you know, 33.3% type thing, you know, 4, 5, 6, or even offset, you know, maybe here, like this one over here, it's a 1/3, 2/3. Let's do that for fun. And here's the modules I'm talking about. As you scroll through, you're going to see a vast number of different modules you can use and utilize within your builder to add new things into your whole build. It can be very handy, very useful. If there's things you're not sure about, please do ask. Send us an email. We don't mind helping at all with that. Or if you're uncomfortable with some of this stuff, we're there to help and work with you as well. Okay. Now, there are some that we kind of will steer you away from. The map one, for instance. Google's changed their map APIs and stuff a few times and caused some issues with multiple sites in the past. So unless it's something that you are in there maintaining on a regular basis yourself, we recommend that you simply go to the code one right here and enter the embed code that Google Maps gives you when you do a search. Again, we can do a tutorial on that one, not a big deal. So what I'm going to do in this one is just show you quickly as far as using an image. So I'm going to click the image one, and right there it's entered this image. Pardon me. Oops, I waited too long. my bad on that one. Let's go back to that. We have that. Now we're going to go to image. And it pops up with the whole image settings here. I always remember, click the gear, and we can add whatever. So I'm going to click them with the Calgary Flame stuff there. Now, remember I said beginner, intermediate, and advanced section. Well, in the beginner section, we can set everything from a link we would like that to go to, or in this case, let's make it open in a light box, which means when you click on that image, it'll pop open wider. Okay? We can change the background area, you know, of behind the image. In this case, it's kind of irrelevant. We're going to leave that, so I'm going to go here to reset. And we can change the label for the back end. So if we want to change how that appears in the back end, if we're going to the back end editor over here, okay? I'm not using the back end editor for any of this tutorial, mind you. Okay, in the intermediate section for design, we can have an overlay. So the overlay being, say we want it so that if we go like this and we want it to show up in red, so when we mouse over, okay, the icon look is now red. No, we want that purple. We can change that to purple. Let's say we want the overlay to be black. So we go like this, it changes that to black. White, changes it to white. Or if we click on here, we can actually change the percentage so that it is a translucent overlay when you do that. Just a neat thing, especially when you're clicking on this to enlarge it or something. Now the same thing goes with the, the icon picker. Let's go with, we want this to zoom in this way. So click this one, it changes the icon. Now I show you this here just to say, this isn't just the image. A lot of these features are available with a lot of the modules that are available here. I would suggest that you go in and play a little bit. Reason being is you can't wreck your websites. You can go in, you can play with all the modules, do all these things, and unless you click that bottom save over there, that behind this module settings here, that will not save the page. So you can leave the page without saving and still have played with a bunch of stuff, and you've been able to get some experience seeing some of this. So let's go here with the alignment too. We can change the alignment of this. In this case, the image is large enough that it's already filling the space, so you're not seeing it change. But let's go to sizing here. Force fill width, see, that's why I say you do that. And let's go here, I'm gonna shrink it now. And now if we change the alignment, we're gonna see it move. Quite interesting how you can change those, so that we can play around with that kind of thing. I'm gonna change the size back to 100%. Spacing, that enables us to do different padding. So, margins changes the padding or changes the spacing around the outside of the module area. The padding changes the spacing within the inside of the module area. I would suggest that you use percentages when you do so. So I'll go like this. And this makes it equal on both top and bottom. And the reason I say percentages then is that because on the size of the screen, then it will change that percentage no matter the size of the screen. If you use actual pixels, 100 pixels on a large screen isn't that big a deal compared to 100 pixels on a small screen. So that's why we would suggest that. You can add borders to things. So if we want to do rounded corners, we can go here and you can see the actual corners rounding around there. Now this is something that can happen with all the modules you use too, pretty much, okay? So here, we're gonna add some border. I'm gonna make it blue. We can even change the border style. Just for fun. Now a lot of this is things that a lot of companies wouldn't bother using, and that's okay. Now let's go with the shadowing there. The fact that it's available is just phenomenal. So you can see there we can add shadows to our whole image area. I'm gonna make those shadows darker, make those shadows colored. Lots of neat things you can do there. Filters are for changing colors and doing things, so we can get rid of this, make this a black and white photo. And notice it does affect the outside too. So any of the module settings, if you had that, so if you've used any text in your module and colored that text, and there's an image setting or a way to place an image with that module, it will also go to be edited by the whole filters and stuff that you're using. So be aware of that. Transformation, we can change this and say, okay, we'd like this to be on an angle. And lastly, the fun one, animation, we can set this to animate, and we'll say we want to slide this in right. So it'll actually come in this way, and you can change your duration, your delay, so on and so forth, how drastic it is, It's a nice way of doing, drawing attention to certain things. So it's amazing some of the things you have available. Now in the advanced section here, we have the ability to set different CSS classes and IDs for coding. We can customize just the modules themselves instead of making it site-wide if we wanted to. We can change certain attributes and stuff for SEO purposes here. We can change visibility, like I said, so for changing it. So in this case, we can say, no, I don't want it to show on desktop, and it won't. Lastly here, also you've got your ability to change where it's actually showing up. Now, transitions, I'll show you something here. The duration of transition, there's some really neat ways. And the transitions are when you scroll through as you scroll through a page like this, how it shows up that way. We can say we want this to be linear instead, and what happens when it scrolls, it'll show like linear transition on the scroll. Kind of neat. Now, lastly on this last two, we have, scroll effects, I'll show you that one, that's tied in there. The position, that's for setting the layers, so you can actually set this to stand above another image so that it overlaps another image if you like, just by setting the Z or Z index. That is actually how it functions when it comes to layers on the actual website or the web page. And the scroll effects, that's the one I wanted to show you here. So we're gonna look at this one and say, no, we're not gonna stick this in any specific position. We're gonna change this to fade in, fade out. We're gonna enable that, and we can actually do some neat things. So as we do the scroll, and you're not going to see it necessarily here. You see a slight transition, which is kind of neat. That is a fade. How about we do this here, and we go like this. We see a bit of a scale. Does it show it? Not quite. But something, once you're done, oh, I didn't enable it, my bad. So there you go. So it starts here, and as you scroll in, it changes it. You see that? Kind of neat. We'll enable this one, and go here, and does the same thing. So small to large, zoom in. See? So it's a neat way of doing transitions, again, to draw attention. And that's just a brief overview of some of the additions and changes. Now, I didn't save that. That's why it changed back, and I'm going to get rid of that. So we don't want that to show up because I have some other changes to do on this page. But you see how it can be so easy to do some of these things. So when it comes to text edits, though, really simple. Hit the gear, go in, make your change. You may find in some cases, though, if you were to go in here and take out this entire title here, you notice this was a H2, you delete that and you start typing, it may not show as the H2. Oh, it didn't that way. So we go back in here, click the paragraph, H2, and it picks up the default settings that we already have set for this module. So what I'm going to do is just do a quick undo here so we have this back. Oops. There we go. Now, let's see how you can change that. I'm going to go into the intermediate level on this for text, and you'll see, now there's different ways, I gotta say. So some people will go in, they'll go here and say, I want this bold. I'm going to recommend you don't do it that way unless it's just for a portion of a section. Like in this case, say we wanted this to be a different color. We could click this here, we could pick a different one of the colors that are preset in here. My recommendation is to go into the design side, our intermediate section, go here, go to our H2, and then you can set those colors right there from within. You see how that works? Really nice to be able to do, and then you can actually have more, I guess, latitude on being able to change things in dramatic ways. In this case, I'm not going to do that, but you can see what we can do here. We can add shadowing to the text, stark shadowing. We can go red shadowing, all that kind of stuff. We can add, change things with different sizes of the module itself, just like the other one. You can add borders to the module itself, just like the other ones. Shadows to that module. Color those shadows. Change the shadows. All those different things. And again, back to the transformations for turning the animation, just like we showed in the last one. Again, I'm going to hit the X. I'm not going to save this, but you get the idea. So, to recap all that kind of stuff, or how you finish that, is always go to the bottom, click that save button, and then you're completed. In this case, there's no more changes I've made that I want to save, so I'm not going to worry about that one here. And then what happens is you exit the builder. Now notice if I've been inside a module, it says, are you sure? I'm going to say yes, everything's fine. So once I do there, I'm now back to the visual that we get when it comes to how the website actually works for visitors. We see it all working. We see that I've changed this, and it is now changed. The postal code, we took the S off of taxation, and that is now there and working fine. Now there are a few other changes I'm going to make here, but this is the quick overview of how to do this, and I think it kind of makes sense. So if you've got any questions, do reach out. It's Greg T at theimageshop.com. Send us an email. You can go through our website at theimageshop.com as well if you want to schedule a meeting, or maybe even set up some training in-house for some of your staff. We have no problem doing that, and we can send you the pricing on what we do for that. And it is something that we can do either in-house or as a Zoom meeting as well. The Zoom meeting would go really well, and we keep it open to a lot of questions, and it is customized to your website. It's not the generic ones you get on the videos here for the basic training that you get. So thank you so much. Again, Greg T, The Image Shop. Have a great day.